Bodies, Bodies is out now in theaters. It is the newest A24 release. In an isolated family mansion, a group of rich 20-somethings decide to play Bodies, 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 a game where one of them is secretly a killer while the rest tries to escape. Things take a turn for the worse when real bodies start turning up, setting off a paranoid and dangerous chain of events. Now, what I liked about this movie was the setup. It had a lot of intrigue to it. It had a really cool idea about a group of friends in their early 20s that haven't seen each other in a while that get together in a mansion during a storm, and when the power goes out, they play a murder mystery game, and then the murders actually become real. Really cool premise. You could do a lot with that, even with a limited budget. I also really liked the acting in this movie. I thought the performances were really good in this movie, especially Amandla Stenberg. I thought that she was by far the standout of this movie. She was the one that had the most depth to her character, and she played that character extremely well. I also really liked the feeling of isolation in this movie, the self-contained murder mystery taking place in one location. No outside help, just in this dark, dreary mansion where the characters only use their flashlights on their phone to try and see down dark corridors. It made the movie that much more creepy and suspenseful. It made it feel like it was a haunted house type of horror movie, and I appreciated that about the movie. The craft behind the movie is really good, especially when it comes to the camera work. I thought the camera work was spot on in this movie. There's a lot of close-ups of characters in this movie. All the characters get close-ups, and I think that that was actually helping me trying to decipher which of the characters was the guilty one, because for the first half of this movie, I kept saying to myself, I don't know which one of them did it. It's her, it's her, it's her, it's her, it's her, it's her, it's him. With the close-up camera shots, if they had only done it for like one or two characters, I think it would have been super obvious for me. I would have been like, yeah, it's that person, because that's the one the camera's focusing on. Having close-up shots for this movie of the characters, I think added to the suspense of who is it? It's a whodunit movie. So who is it? Those shots kept the guessing game going for me. When it comes to the rest of the movie, well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of peers were saying that this was a great movie, and hey, kudos to you if you really like this movie. The second half of this movie, though, it really falls flat on its face for me. The characters in this movie suck, and that is by design. They are intentionally bad, but you can have intentionally terrible, shitty human beings and be somewhat sympathetic for them, or at least understand where they're coming from. I would say on a scale of 1 to 100%, I understood where they were coming from about 6% of the time. I hated every single one of these characters, and I had little to no sympathy for any of them. The perfect example of a character that is just a trash human being and kind of a shitty character is Lou Bloom from Nightcrawler, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, but he's such a great character. You can have shitty characters in a movie, or terrible human beings, but they're still great characters. I could not side with any of them. I had such a hard time believing that this specific group of friends were friends for years before this event and during this event, because they all fucking hate each other. They're all calling each other names. They're all calling each other out. I'm like, why are you guys friends? None of you seem compatible. This is just making this whole situation so much less believable than it actually should be. And I get it. It's probably part of the satire of this movie, but none of the satire worked for me. None of the in-jokes, none of the referential jokes worked for me. Nothing got a chuckle from me. Honestly, what this felt like to me was a low-budget, poor man's version of Scream. It was like somebody watched Scream one too many times and said, I want to do that. Let's make a haunted house movie that takes place all in the dark and do a murder mystery whodunit movie with satire. That doesn't work and has insane, stupid plot twists. Every plot twist in the second half of this movie, aside from one, which I wish the movie had followed through on, was lame as shit. There's a point in this movie where there's one character, it's implied that this one character is the one doing all this. And I said to myself, I really like that. Follow through on that. I totally buy that. And then the movie just doesn't follow through on it. Instead of expanding on that plot twist or having that person be the person, it's just like, well, we're going to follow that plot twist up with this random plot twist, with another random plot twist, with another random plot twist, with another random plot twist, to the point where I was just like, okay, this is such a medley of plot twists. This is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then the final plot twist at the end, I was just like, so... Like, I had to laugh at that part because for me, it was dumb, it was lame, I thought it was very lazy. It just felt like the writer and the director had run out of ideas at this point, and it was just the first thing that popped in their mind was the plot twist at the end. You'll know it when you see it. Was not a fan of it. The second half of this movie really makes this movie fall flat for me. I enjoyed the first half. I liked the setup, the setting, I think the actors are giving genuine performances in this movie, and I love the camera shots in this movie, but when it comes to the actual characters themselves, what this movie is trying to do with the satire and the plot twists that it sets up, it didn't work for me. And the more that I sat on my thoughts, I had to sit on this for a few minutes after I got home from seeing this, and it really struck me that this was somebody trying to do a different version of Scream, but a lot worse, if you know what I mean. And honestly, for a movie that is satirical like this, I was expecting to have a lot more fun. I think that this movie actually takes itself way too seriously, and maybe the satire just went over my head in that regard, but I didn't have fun watching this movie at all. I thought it was actually, because I hated the characters and all the characters hate each other, I actually thought that this was a pretty depressing movie. I don't buy the fact that this group of friends would be friends at all. You know what? More power to you if you like this movie. I am jealous. I am somewhere right in the middle because there are great elements about this movie, but when it comes to the actual writing of the twists and the characters in the second half and how the movie handles the satire, it all just tanked from there. I will say I enjoyed Bodies, Bodies, Bodies with only half a bucket of popcorn. That's a damn shame because I had heard so many great things about this movie and I wanted to like it a lot more than I actually did. And I was there. I was there for the ride in the first half, and then it just, I don't know what happened with the second half, man. But like I said, more power to you if you like this movie. I am honestly jealous if you like this. So, Bodies, 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 have you seen it? Drop me some feedback as to what you thought of the movie in the comment section below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.